Before we start the episode, we would like to acknowledge that this podcast is recorded on the stolen lands of the Turrbal and Yagara people. We would like to pay our respect to the elders past and present and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening today. Once described as the embodiment of spooky yet irresistibly sexy, Evie Eerie is a glamour goth with curves to kill. Evie's lifelong passion for dance and musical theatre were combined when she discovered burlesque, and she's been in love with this art form ever since. Making her professional debut in 2022, Evie has haunted stages all over South Australia with her cheeky and seductive style. As scary as Halloween, but as sweet as candy, this curvaceous little witch knows exactly how to put the boo in booty. Not only did Evie sell out her debut production, Nexus Rhinestone Massacre, a burlesque homage to horror movie marathons, but she also was named Rising Star in the Apprentease South Australia competition in 2023. She is currently a teacher at Haus of Coffin, South Australia's House of Alternate Burlesque. A proud plus-size disabled queer woman, Evie brings her love for the strange and unusual into everything she touches. With a touch of camp and a whole lot of ass, Evie Eerie is the self-appointed queen of Halloween, and she's here to make you scream. Welcome back to the Burlesque Bulletin podcast. I am your host, Honey Holloway, and today we are here with Evie Eerie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Just checking that I said your name right.
Yes,
Okay,
you
good.
did. You got it.
Sometimes I read people's names and I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely know what it is. And then I say it out loud for the first time and I'm like, wait, is that actually it?
Yeah, I've had it happen with because the Eerie people will be like,
Yeah.
Eerie? It's
But
the spooky.
I assume it's eerie, like spooky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You
I
got
know.
it.
So before we get into all the burlesque questions, I love to ask my guests if they know their zodiac sign. Do you know?
I do. I don't remember what everything means, but I do remember my big three. So I am a Virgo sun, a Leo moon, and a Sagittarius rising.
Love. I feel like most people know that Leos are very stage heavy presence. But
Yes.
do you feel like you relate to the Virgo and the Sagittarius?
Not so much the Sagittarius, I don't think, but the Virgo definitely. The whole perfectionism, attention to detail, that's the stuff I love. I yeah, quite often will be like, I'm a Virgo, I need it to be perfect. It's fine.
Yeah, perfectionism.
Use it as an excuse for everything.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I feel like with Sagittarius risings, it's funny because a lot of the time, Sagittarius moons or Sagittarius risings will be like, I don't really relate too much to Sagittarius, but with the rising, it's actually more about your life's trajectory and more about it is sometimes how people perceive you, but it's more about your view on the world and the lens that you have on the world.
That's so interesting.
So Sagittarius is very open-minded, sometimes spiritual,
Yep.
and just loves to learn and experience life.
That does track. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So all the burlesque questions, let's get to it. So tell us about how you found out about burlesque and how you got started.
So it's a bit of a long-winded journey. But I basically did that classic pipeline of goth kid, tried to be normal, then found burlesque and pinup. And so I found vintage stuff, and then through that found Betty Page and delved into the 50s burlesque and loved it. I went to a few local burlesque shows, and I never thought about me doing it, but I have always been a theater kid and danced and performed. So I don't know, I just never thought about me doing burlesque until I actually saw Diana Devine perform. And they are a local, also chronically ill disabled performer. And I was like, oh my God, that means I could do it because I stopped performing because of my disabilities and chronic illness, and it was really hard. And yeah, when I saw other people on stage doing it, I was like, can I perform again? Is this like a way for me to do something? And I love burlesque and I love all the vintage stuff. And yeah, I just became a bit of a hyperfixation through Di was teaching at Hot Sauce Burlesque at the time. And they were like really welcoming and encouraging for me to start. And yeah, I started in 2020 and then did my first solo in 2022, I think. I'm really bad at dates. But yeah, that's my
I feel
basic
like
journey.
I feel like 2020 feels like so long ago and also
Right.
yesterday. So the fact that it's 5 years, I'm just like crazy.
I know. It's
It
yeah,
feels
when did that happen?
together. Amazing. That's so crazy because for some reason well, on one hand, I'm like, I feel like you've been doing it for so long. Like, I feel like you are so good at what you do, just from what I've seen.
Thank you.
So it's crazy that it's, hasn't been that long, but yeah,
Yeah, not
but
at all. Only 3 years of solo. So
yeah, exactly. I feel like that is the classic pipeline of like the
mhm.
goth, the scene, or the pin-up, like, and then it
Yeah, yeah. You
into
kind
the
of do like the pin up into like the rockabilly, into the gothabilly, and like
yeah.
then just
It's
become
exactly
this.
what happened to me. So
Yeah.
so can you describe Evie Eerie in 5 words?
Oh, oh my gosh, I forgot about this question. I'm so bad at work. We've got to have spooky, first and foremost, always spooky. Um, I think a bit camp. I like dramatic. That's three. Mm, I need two more words. Um, I do describe myself as a glamour goth, so
Okay.
that's two.
That can be
That
hyphenated. Yeah, we love that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
You can have an extra or you can leave it at that. It's fine.
I think I will leave it at that. My brain has forgotten every word that exists,
Yeah,
apparently.
it's usually what happens. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So how did you choose your stage name?
Um, I did a very Virgo thing and I took very long and I wrote down all these names that I liked and all these last names that I liked and I like did all these little combinations of what I felt fit. I really wanted that vibe of like something that's spooky but still kind of like cutesy and welcoming because I love the like camp stuff. I didn't want to be too like hardcore goth, if that makes sense, even though I
Mhm.
love that. I did actually pick a different name at first, and I did a lot of research and I found someone in America who was like an international touring artist, and I was like, they seem too big. I'm not going to have the same name as them. That's scary. And yeah, then I fell upon Evie Eerie. I've always liked names that have V's in them. I know I
Mm.
just did a V with my hands. Um, yeah, I've always liked words with V's in them for some reason. They seem cool to me. And yeah, I just put a bunch of different ones together and I asked a lot of friends and stuff. And yeah, that's how I got to Evie Eerie, which
Amazing.
actually I have a lovely, cute little story about the name. Quite soon after I picked it, my dad got me some custom license plates and it's Eerie. But
Stop.
he didn't realize I'd picked my burlesque name. So when my mum was like, "Oh, that's really lovely. Did you get it because it's her burlesque name?" And he was like, "No, I just wanted to get her a spooky license plate." And that was the word that I came up with. And it was like literally a
Stop.
couple months after I'd picked the name. So I was like, okay, the universe has told me I've picked correct. It's good. It's meant to be.
That is so crazy. What the heck? Your dad
Right?
is like psychic or something.
Yeah, he had no idea. He just wanted to get me a spooky license plate.
That is so wild. I feel like, yeah, that's definitely just like it's destined. It's been said.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. I was like, okay, we're good. It's set. I'm happy.
Exactly. Even if you wanted to change it, you're not allowed to
Yeah, I
change
can't now.
it. So who's been some of your burlesque inspiration?
Oh my gosh, so many. Obviously I mentioned Diana Divine being a catalyst for me starting. And
Mm.
I love everything they do. Kitty Obsidian,
Mm.
incredible. And then Betty Bombshell, of course.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite spooky goth mum of the
Mhm.
whole. burlesque scene. And then I also Vivian von Coffin, another local artist, and she is an icon. Yeah, I really love people who can have that little bit of an edge to them, but also have that like storytelling and characterization in their acts. Um, yeah, I feel like I could list so many people, but I'm trying to like not go too long.
Yeah, no, that's a
Um,
good top five or whatever it was. That's
yeah, yeah.
so what has been some of your favorite highlights throughout your burlesque journey?
Um, there's so many. Firstly, I think it's just the connections I've been able to make. I found a really lovely group of friends through burlesque, that now I'm like, how did I have a life without you guys? Like
Aw.
they're just yeah, that's been really, really special and very, very lovely. And then in terms of actual like career stuff, I have started producing a show with Eerie Events. So I've started producing a show called Nexus Rhinestone Massacre. We've done
Mhm.
two, and they both sold out, which is fantastic.
Yay.
But yeah, the first time, so we sold out the debut one, and just that moment at the end of the curtain call was really, that's definitely a highlight. That's one of those ones that sticks in my mind because everyone was like just the cheers and the support was
Aw.
so overwhelming, but it was, yeah, very special. I think it's got to be it, I reckon.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What about some not so great moments or some malfunctions on stage?
I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had any major, major malfunctions. I did have a little bit of a funny thing. I had a run of Fringe, Adelaide Fringe. I had this act that I had choreographed for a stage that's kind of in the round, and then it got booked on like a flat stage, like a regular stage. And for some reason, I kept starting my floor work backwards because in the round I would walk behind and do it
Oh.
facing a different way. And then I just, even though I had practiced it, changed it and everything, my like muscle memory would always walk around in that point and I'd always start it backwards. I did this 5 nights in a row. And every night I was like, I will get it right next time. Tomorrow it'll be fine. And I didn't. It was always backwards.
Yeah, I
So we just
often
put a weird little flip in there.
was that at is it at 1910? Is that the
Yes, it was designed for 1910. Yeah, and then
yeah.
was on a just a Adelaide Fringe like tent
Yeah.
stage, the flat regular one, not one of the ones in the round.
Yeah, I often wonder, I'm like, how does one work with that stage? Like obviously if
Yeah.
you make it for that stage, then that makes sense.
Mhm.
But like transferring it would be so like difficult. Like I feel like
Yeah,
I would be like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing.
it yeah, it takes a little bit of like choreo gymnastics of moving
Mm,
things around and just like making sure you're hitting all of the points. And like you said, when you choreograph for it, it's fine.
mm,
Um, But when you've got I actually, the same act was originally planned. It was, I made it for Apprentease and we thought we were on a flat stage and I made it with the idea that I'd have this table that would turn around and like reveal all this like gore and stuff. And then we found out it was 1910 and I was like, oh, I don't have a
oh,
back. I can't hide anything. So I
yeah.
had to put like little curtains around this whole table so I could like pull it across and reveal. But
Mm.
that was a little hiccup in the planning of that one. But now it fits on any stage and I can do the floor work backwards.
True, true, true. So what's your creative process like? Does it change or is it always kind of the same?
I think it changes quite a lot. It depends on the act. Sometimes I'll have the concept first. Sometimes the song will come first. But the one thing that stays for me is I always find it really hard to choreograph until I've got the costume or at least
Mhm.
pieces. I find it really hard to like, fake reveal things while I'm planning choreo. So that's probably the only thing that stays the same. I have either the song or the concept first, then plan the costume, try and get everything I can, and then choreo it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, my inspirations and everything come from random places. Sometimes it'll just be a song that I'll be like, oh, I could do this to that, or it'll be, sorry, like a character I've wanted to do or something like that. My most recent ones was like, oh, I want to do surprise, I'm a goth. I want to do a vampire act. And then it's like finding the song to fit to that and everything and how to make it a bit different. Yeah, so it definitely changes.
Mm-hmm. So if you could choose someone to share a dressing room with, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I did get to share a dressing room with Bella DeJacque for Fringe, and that was incredible. I was trying to be normal backstage. They were absolutely lovely. Again, Betty Bombshell being on a lineup with her would just blow my mind. Um, oh, there's so many. But I think I don't know. Yeah. I get really like just my brain fully forgets everybody. I had so many plans of answers and I was like, I've forgotten everybody.
No, that's all right. I literally did the same thing when I was on the Stripped Back podcast. And Daisy was asking me all the questions that I usually ask people. And yeah, it got to the inspirations and I was like, oh yeah, wait, who are my inspirations? And then I
Yeah,
literally
literally.
forgot to say like three people that are like pivotal, pivotal. Am I saying the right word?
Yeah, you got it. You got it there.
Yeah,
Pivotal.
very
Yeah.
important in my
Yes.
burlesque journey. And I didn't even say them. And I was like, oh my God. And I felt so bad, even though like they wouldn't have even cared either way. But I was like, they are literally my top of top have yeah. Anyways, so I
No, I
definitely
completely
understand.
understand. I swear I'm gonna go after this and I'll like have them pop up on Instagram and be like, that was who I wanted to
Yeah,
say.
exactly. It happens every time. If you could swap lives with anyone for a day, who would it be? It's another
Damn,
hard one.
yeah. I don't know. Probably a bit of a bummer, but someone without chronic pain. That'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, wow, I really don't know an answer to that question.
That's all right. I might just pause for a second because I can hear my bloody dog. So one sec. So demanding. She literally sometimes because she's so old, sometimes she literally just bark so I can come and help her up the stairs or like watch her go up those, those little stairs that like,
Yeah, she needs a little support.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, you know how to go up these. And then she'll just be like, all right, watch me go up. Cool. And I'm like,
Make
cool,
sure
I
I
didn't
do
need
it.
to be here.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, where are we up to? What's a surprising lesson that you've had to learn or a challenge that you've had to overcome throughout your burlesque journey?
Ooh. I think for me, again, being chronically ill, it's just been learning how to balance that, which I have not done yet. Let's be real. And I think probably just that whole comparison thing, like not comparing myself to people who can like throw themselves around and do all the floor work tricks where I would like break my body if I even tried. Um, and yeah, just like learning that, everyone's valid in their different ways and you don't have to be doing the same thing or even the same amount of shows and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, yeah, really just like learning how to not or trying to learn how to not compare myself as much.
Yeah,
I think that's been one of the main things, I guess.
yeah, for sure. I feel like I mean, it's hard mentally to just
Mm,
be like the person that you want to be on stage, but then having that extra battle of being chronically ill, like
yes.
it would be so difficult. Like,
Yeah, it is definitely a challenge. Thankfully there is quite a lot of us, surprisingly.
yeah.
The like disabled burlesque crossover is quite big. So there's a lovely community within it. We can find support and stuff and other people who are like, yeah, no, you're doing fine. You don't have to, yeah, do all these crazy things or keep up with people who don't have the same struggles kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it gets tough. It's definitely a fine line
Hmm.
to keep both things going.
But that's so great that you like saw someone who was this like also
Yes.
chronically ill on stage or like and then you
Yeah,
were like, heck
absolutely.
yeah, I can also do that. Wait, I can do it? Crazy.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
very much that. It was such a um yeah, such an important moment in me starting burlesque really, was just seeing Di be who they are.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't think I would have become Evie without them, which is pretty cool.
Oh. So have you received any good advice that you've sort of held onto throughout your burlesque journey?
Mm, I feel like I probably have. I think one of my favorite like bits of advice was at a Frenchy Darling workshop,
Mm.
where she did that thing where she says her little mantra before going on stage is the how much fun can I have type
Mhm.
thing. And
Yeah,
I was like, that's great. That's so good. Because again, as like such a perfectionist, I'm always like, I need to nail everything, nothing can go wrong. So being able to have that little bit of a like switch in my mindset right before I go on has been very helpful.
for sure. Another beautiful Virgo queen, Frenchie
Yes, yeah.
Dolly. So what about some bad advice or maybe some backhanded compliments, anything like that?
I don't think I've had much like bad advice as
Mhm.
such, but I definitely have had a few of those backhanded compliments, especially as a plus size performer.
Mm.
You always get the whole like, "Oh, I could never. You're so brave for getting on stage like that." And you're like what? What do you mean? Um, and just yeah, the people talking like, "Oh, I'd have to lose this much weight before I ever did that," and you're just there, very visibly bigger than them, like,
You're like,
"Thanks."
did those words need to come out of your mouth? Like, did you need,
Exactly, yeah. Like, do you
why are you
fully realize
telling me?
what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
That's fun.
If you could travel back in time and talk to yourself when you started burlesque, what would you say?
I think I would have been like, start earlier because I wish I not in a time like just because it's been so good and it's like been incredible. I wish I had been doing it for longer already just so I could be doing more of it. But you know, I've still got ages of doing it, hopefully. But I think I started when I needed to start.
Mm.
And I also I took it at my own pace and I didn't like push my body because I was so nervous about that. Um, I feel like I would just want to be like, you're gonna do all these really cool things. And I would have been like, no way. That's no. Would have blown my little mind.
Yep. Oh, I love that. So how do you overcome imposter syndrome or how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Because we can't really
Oh,
overcome it, I guess.
yes. Yeah, I definitely don't overcome it. I try, but um, I think again the community, the friends that I have, if I'm ever like not feeling the best before a gig, I can always reach out to them and be like, "Can I have a little pep talk?" And that's really helpful. But also I find that like it's kind of cliche, but you know, looking back at your own self, like comparing yourself to yourself rather than anybody else. I find trying to focus on how far I've come, especially with like again the chronic illness. Like I didn't think I'd ever be able to do as much as I am doing. And I think that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, just like seeing how much I've improved by myself rather than trying to focus on what other people are doing.
Definitely. I think that's like the best advice because you
Hmm.
want to be getting better and growing and everything like that, but you also want to be celebrating like how far you've come.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a really important thing to focus on. And I love watching like videos of when I first started and my face would just because when I learnt to dance originally, it was like you put on a smile and you hold that face for the entire act. So it took me ages to learn how to like easily move my face while I'm performing because I would just be like there with that like solid smile, not changing. And it would
Yeah.
just be so stiff. Because I did that like dance training as a kid, which that's what they tell you, like smile for the
Mhm.
whole thing. Um, but yeah, just watching like little aspects like that, like just how much my facial expressions have changed from the start and my like confidence actually looking at the audience and like giving audience people eye contact. That was a big at the
Mm.
start. It's like, you're all just a blank. There's nobody here. I'm not looking directly at anybody.
Yeah.
And now I'm like comfortable singling people out when in a fun way, not like in
Yeah.
a, the
Yeah.
way.
I feel like I'm still in that stage of just like, just looking at the lights, just looking over the sun. And when I do like lock eyes with someone, I'm so bad at like breaking character. Like I'll just
Yeah.
smile and be like, hey, like, what's up?
No,
I'm
I definitely feel
okay.
that, especially when it's people you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
my friend. Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever my friends are in the audience, I'm like, please sit at the back where I cannot see you. Do not sit at the
Yeah.
front. Otherwise,
I used to do the same, especially with like when I very first started, even at the group classes, I would tell anybody coming, like, sit way at the back. If I see you, you're gonna throw me off. I need to not
mhm,
know where you are. Don't tell me anything. Um, but now, yeah, I have friends in the front row and it's fine, which is,
mhm,
yeah, again, pretty cool to see that growth, I guess.
definitely, definitely. So what do you believe is your biggest strengths when performing?
Hmm. The biggest strength. I feel like this shouldn't be so hard. I think yeah, it's like I think I have grown into that connection on stage, and I feel like I do that right now. And I have the most fun in those moments, and I
Mhm,
think that shows. I know one of my favorite comments that I've been told is that people can feel my joy when I'm on stage. So like I feel like that's one of those things that I kind of pride myself on being able to do, like just have fun and like share that kind of feeling with the audience.
definitely. I think that's like, yeah, one of the most important things is like in burlesque, it's sort of burlesque versus every other kind of dance
Yes.
medium or
Yeah,
whatever,
absolutely.
like it is that connection to the audience, which is
Yeah.
so important. So
Yeah. It's honestly one of the main things, and it's what can kind of make or break an act at the end of the day. And once you learn it, I feel like all of my acts have just been better since I've been able to like kind of work on that skill.
mhm,
But yeah, it takes a while to get there.
definitely. So what about some weaknesses or some things that you would like to work on?
Mm, see, now I'm like, this list feels much longer.
It
Again,
always feels like that.
yeah. I think it's definitely not an important skill within burlesque, but for myself, I would love to work on my actual dance technique.
Mhm.
I think coming from a dance background and then stopping for so long, I feel like I lost a lot of my technique, and I would love to get that back at some point. And just work on making more like intentional movements and like little dancey moments. Um, yeah, I think that's probably one of the things I would like to work on the most.
Do you have any specific things that you want to do in the future, like any goals or any shows, any competitions? Because you've done Apprentease, is that correct?
I did Apprentice. Yeah, I would love to do MX one day. That is definitely
Mhm,
on the list. Um, as for goals, I think like a lot of more interstate. I love Adelaide. We have some great shows here, but I would love to travel and book some more interstate gigs, and just all those different shows would be really fun. I do have my first interstate gig this year, so that's very exciting.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I would love to do
Brisbane,
more.
right? Brisbane.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, of
Brisbane
course.
in August.
I'm very
It'll be
excited.
very cool. Yes, I can't wait. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I think that's it. Probably, yeah, traveling with like for burlesque, I think would be very cool.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, we are going to go to a little break and we'll be back very shortly with Evie Eerie. Hey, burlesque baddies. Before we step back behind the curtain, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here and listening and making the Burlesque Bulletin a part of your rhinestoning ritual and your ultimate guilty pleasure. If you're enjoying the show, please let us know. Leave us a little review on Spotify, a comment on one of our YouTube videos, or go support us over on Patreon. Every little bit helps keep the tassels twirling and the show on the road. Now back to the episode. Okay, back to the Burlesque podcast. We are here with Evie Eerie. All right, well, let's get back into the questions.
Yes.
So, we're going to play a game. It's
Yes,
called This or That. You may know it.
I do.
So basically, super easy. Just choose your favorite.
Yes. Super
Okay.
easy, but I'm very indecisive, so we'll see about that.
Rhinestones or feathers?
Rhinestones.
C string or G string?
I think G-strings.
Neo or classic?
Oh, that's tough. I think I've got to go with Neo. It's what I do more,
Mhm.
but I do love a classic.
Boa or feather fans?
Feather fans. They're stunning. I am yet to use them, but they're just so beautiful. I love them.
Mhm. I can imagine like a beautiful black pair or a red
I've
pair.
actually made a pair with Jazida and Cherry Bomb, had a little fan making workshop, and I've made a custom pair of red and black,
Oh,
and they're stunning. I can't wait to use them, but I haven't yet.
oh, amazing. I'm definitely excited to see that whenever it does.
Yeah, I love them so much.
Tassels or assels?
I'm a sucker for assholes. I love them. I lose my mind every time I see them.
Yeah, definitely. Lace or leather?
Ooh, that's so hard. I like both. Um, oh my God, why is this the hardest one? I think I'm gonna have to go with lace.
Lace? I feel like lace is like easier to get into, more comfy.
Yes. Yeah, oh God, so much more comfy. Yeah. Just on that alone, you're correct. Yes.
Diamonds or pearl?
Diamonds.
Drag or burlesque?
Again, very hard, so different, and I love both. I'm gonna do burlesque just because that's where I am and it's my thing. But yeah, big fan of drag.
Stocking peels or stripper heels?
Mm-mm. Uh, Stripper heels, they're just so good. They look incredible. I can't walk in them, but they look incredible.
I can't
They're
either.
so
I'm like, best crap. But love everyone else who can do it. I'm
Love them. They're incredible.
big stage show or intimate bar show?
Oh, I love a big stage show. I love the intimate. It's nice you get that little moments, but I love the drama of a big stage.
It's the Leo moon. That's what it
Yeah, it's like give everything the most.
Cabaret or comedy?
Cabaret.
Movie or TV series?
Oh, that's really hard too. I think I have to do movies. I'm such a sucker for movie. My whole show is based on horror movies. So I feel like
There
I've
you
got to
go.
say movies.
What's some of your favorite horrors?
I mean, we have my Jason, my Friday the 13th. That was my like introduction to horror, and I love Scream. I've got a Scream tattoo. That's one of my favorite franchises ever. And Hereditary. I think they've got to be my top three. Hereditary is one of those ones that really
So good.
got me. It was really good.
I love Toni Collette as well. She's just
Yes. Oh, she's incredible. Like always, but in that movie, amazing.
Have you ever seen Connie and Carla?
No.
I would definitely recommend. That's actually one of the movies that got me not into burlesque, but like
Oh.
into the world because it was, I don't know, have you ever heard of it?
Vaguely, but I didn't know any like burlesque
Well,
connection.
it's not really burlesque, but it's more, it's drag. But,
Yeah.
that's the
Performance.
gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So like watching that as a kid, I was like, I want to do that. Like that sounds like
Yes.
a dream life. Like even though
Yeah.
she's running away from like I don't know, someone trying to murder her or murder them or whatever.
Fun. Yeah, good.
I'm just like, I'm
I will
like that sounds
absolutely.
like the best place to be. Like,
See, had that with Rocky Horror as a kid, which I think explains a lot about
yeah,
me. I watched all the Rocky Horror and went, I want to be there. Let me join that little crew.
exactly. I never really realize until I was older. I was like, wait, that was one of my favorite movies. And it's so like it's not I think it's underrated, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
that's
mean, I
um
have a extra special connection to it because it's my parents' favorite movie and their wedding was actually Rocky Horror themed.
oh my
So
God,
a little 1-year-old, I was dressed up as Columbia for their wedding.
that is the best. Oh my
Yeah, and we got
God.
to meet Richard O'Brien with them after he came to Adelaide for the Rocky Horror show, obviously. So yeah, Rocky Horror is very, very important in just who I am as a person.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's amazing. Where are we up to? Sweet or savory?
Sweet, definitely.
Halloween or Christmas?
Halloween.
Next question.
I think that's a given. I've got a
Red
little
or white
Jack-o'-lantern
wine?
tattoo.
Red or white wine?
I actually don't like any wine. I'm
That's
not
fair.
a wine drinker, but if I have to, it'll be white. But like the really, really, really sweet dessert wine,
Mhm.
Moscatos, that isn't even wine.
Cocktails or beer then?
Cocktails.
What's your go-to?
Oh, honestly, anything sweet and like fruity.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big sweet tooth. If I can't taste the alcohol, we're good.
Yeah, fair. You said sweet before for your sweet or savory. What's
I
your
did.
favorite sort of sweet thing?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Or top
Again,
10? Top 10?
yeah, yeah. The list is really long. I'm a sucker. It's simple, but just biscuits. They're my like. I can never say no to a biscuit,
Mm-hmm.
especially a tea drinker. Tea and biscuits. That's my happy place. That's all I need.
Especially in winter.
Yes,
I've been
yeah,
having so much tea, so many bickies.
yeah, yeah. It is the best. Yeah, I can never say no to a biscuit.
Do you have like a favorite or one that you always have?
I love the custard creams and the shortbreads, just the
Mm,
really simple. I'm not that like I don't need anything fancy. I just want like a good biscuit.
yeah, fair. I love an Anzac biscuit. That's
Oh
always,
yes. Yeah,
oh,
they're delicious.
so good. Anyways, so what have you got coming up? Is there anything that you want to promote? And where can we find you on social media if people don't
On
follow you
so
already?
yes. On social media, I'm evie.eerie.burlesque. I do get shadow banned quite often, as we all do. So you
Yeah.
quite often have to type the whole to the E of burlesque to get me. Um, And I also have Eerie Events. So that's my producing page. That's eerie.events.adl for Adelaide. Yeah, we post about all the shows I've done there. So that's my socials. I do have some stuff planned on the producer side that I don't have announced yet. So go follow me over there. You'll see what I can say. Uh, yeah, I think I've got a few things booked that haven't been announced. So I
Mhm.
can't say too much yet, but I've got some very fun shows coming up.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I had a lovely, lovely time.
It's
And
been
I'm
so nice,
so
even though I've
excited to
forgotten
see
everything that exists.
you. That's all right. It happens. It happens. I'm very excited to see you when you come up and we're gonna
Yeah, I can't wait.
hang out.
Yes,
Woohoo.
yes. Have some tea and biscuits.
Yes, definitely. I'll bring my Anzac biscuits. All
Yeah. That's
right.
gonna be
Have a good
great.
day.
Thank you so much, you too. Bye.
Thank you so much to our guest for being on the podcast and letting us take a peek behind the curtain of their lives. Thanks for everyone joining us, and we will see you in our next episode.